Okay, we want to talk about a fair number of things, but let's get started. First of all, some of you are leaving points on the table by not doing the discussion boards each week, or worse yet, not answering all aspects of whatever the discussion board question is, and or not following all the directions. Please read everything. If you have responses like A, B, C, D, E, and then F and G are on the top of the next page, and you don't do F and G, you're leaving points on the table, folks. You've got to read everything before you start doing anything. If it says write a couple of paragraphs, then we're expecting a couple of paragraphs, not two sentences. Little things like that. Also, every speech, unless it says differently, requires a speaker outline and a speech outline. All right? Call the speaker outline speaker notes, but it requires it. If you don't turn those in with your speech, it costs you points with the speech. Now let's talk a little bit about the process speech. To review on that, there were 100 points. The assignment was 5 to 7 minutes, and basically, there are some things that you need to do: speech outline, organization, preparation outline, sources are optional, visual aids were optional, and generally things like that. But this is all posted in the Blackboard, and you can read this and find out what it is you're supposed to do. You also, if you go to the Blackboard, you will see that there is a rubric, if I can get the paper to move right. There's a rubric posted there that does all of the same things, tells you what we're looking for in terms of what you're talking about, etc. All right, let's get started. We're doing these by your fantasy names, and let's talk about, first of all, Furby. Furby, you spoke about chocolate-covered marshmallows. Couple of points. In a process speech, think of it like the cooking shows you see. You never see them, except in rare occasion, actually measure anything. They're in measured little glasses or cups, and they say you put in 2 teaspoons of this, 1 teaspoon of this, a cup of this, half a teaspoon of this, and they're just dumping it in. They never measure it out themselves while they're talking about it. Same thing is when you add this and stir it, it should look like this, and they show it. And then when you do it all this and you put it in the pan, it should look like this and show it. And then you put it in the oven for 25 hours at 700 degrees. And when it's all done, it looks like this. Now, I never move to the range. I never move to the sink, anything like that. It's all right at my hands in order to do it. And the process speech is exactly that. What do we need to do in order for things to work? And when you get a little bit lost in what you're doing, then sometimes that really shows when you're doing a process speech. All right, so for Furby, chocolate-covered marshmallows, have each step ready to show. Don't leave the shot to go and get the next thing. Have someone hand it to you or have it right where you need to do that. A couple of things. A couple of you are re-showing the audience. You do not have to do that. I do need to have them stand in front of the camera for a count of 5, say who they are, and move off to wherever they're going to go. I do not need them at the end, because what's happening is you're looking at your timing, and you're timing it from the beginning of the first person to introduce themselves to the end of the last person to introduce themselves, and as a result, you're coming out with the right time for the speech, but some of you have as much as a minute, minute and a half of introductions before you actually start to speak. You take a minute, minute and a half off a 6-minute speech, you're now way below what your length was supposed to be. I'm not saying that in Furby's case, just a thought for you. Don't shoot up. Shoot straight in, like that. You're shooting straight. You're shooting up, Furby. You only need to show one example. You don't need to show multiple examples. I know that you had different colors of frosting on there. Show me 1 or 2, and that's it. You don't need to show me every one of them. Watch the dead spots where you are not at the end of your speaking. You have spots between things, and you just kind of go kind of dead on that. If you're going to show me things, show them quickly. Don't have long lulls in between. Establish your credibility. I'm going to say this and say this and say this. Establish your credibility. Sometimes it's as simple as, I've been interested in cooking all of my life. My mother taught me how to cook, and I've been cooking since I was a little girl or a little boy, whatever. The point is, you have to have some reason why you're saying this, or you're just one more person on the street telling me this. In Furby's case, she apparently has been cooking for a while. What she could say is, I really like making treats for kids, and this is a great treat for trick-or-treaters coming to your house. Now, we've established a little bit of credibility in that she likes to cook, and we establish more credibility in it's something you would do for a holiday. All right, watch your vocalized pauses, Furby. Don't start with and you didn't initially say what you were making. Never turn off your camera or edit your speech. Your camera was turned off. Never do that. Smile, show some enthusiasm. If you don't look like you're enjoying what you're talking about, I am not going to enjoy it either. Good video. I can see you and I can hear you. All right, let's move on to Patriot. Patriot, you're kind of close on the timing, but it's still okay. Stand still. You did a speech on arm casts, and I'll talk about that in just a second. Excellent use of visuals, excellent audio, excellent video, excellent eye contact. You hear a trend there with the excellent? Establish your credibility. You did. You work in a doctor's office, just a little bit more than that. Do you work with people in casts? Something a little tad more than that. How do you know about this? In other words, you're showing great information, great process, but how do you know all of this? All right, watch the vocalized pauses, watch the tisk, watch for elongated words like and then you do this. And. Not and, get the short words out there. Excellent presentation. Very conversational in the format, very well presented. The finish was strong, and you need. I'm sorry, I say that differently. Finish strong, and you might give me some numbers on that. Great speech. I didn't think I'd be the least bit interested in it. You made it interesting, and frankly, it's one of the best speeches at this point in an online class that I've heard, and your grade reflects that. So nice job on that, and everything you did really, I think, paid off very well for you. Now let's go to our next speaker, and that will be Jay. Jay, you spoke about cheesy chicken breast, and let's see what we have to say here. You have the wrong shot composition. Please, this is the shot. What you see me right now, that's the shot. If you have visuals, make a copy of the visuals and send them to me. That's what the speaker did with the arm cast information. They actually sent me pictures. Excellent job establishing your credibility. Way to go. There's improvement on the audio, on the video, I mean. I can actually see your face, and that's good. Watch the handling of your notes. I don't like using cards. I know the book says you can do that. I don't like them. It's too easy to fumble, too easy to drop, too easy to get out of order, and you tend to write smaller on that. I like type. I like large type that you can read easily. It makes it a little bit easier for you. Your handling your notes was a little distracting at times. Work to be a little bit more conversational in what you're doing. Watch the tisk. You need to show items, not just talk about them. The process means show how it happens, and we could have used some visuals on this, especially given what you were talking about. And this particular speech begged for visuals, and please remember that when you give this kind of speech. Let me pause and say something for everybody. You have now used the only time you can use the topic you use this time. Do not do a variation of anything even remotely connected to what you talked about this time on any future speeches. So, for instance, let's go back to the cooking the cheesy chicken breast. No more cooking of any kind. The cast, no more medical of any kind. All right? One time only on what you do. Let's go to, I think I can get in one more here. Let's go to Cardinal. Cardinal, this was short. You had 1 minute and 3 seconds of introduction of your audience. Work on flow. Stand still when you speak. Don't be moving around a lot when you do that. Also, too many technical terms. You were talking about towing, and you used a lot of technical terms. Either my car's been towed or it hasn't been towed. If it hasn't been towed, I don't care that much. If it has been towed, I don't care what the technical term is for the thing you hooked my car up. I care about how much it cost me that my car was towed. I care about whether there were signs there warning me that my car was going to be towed, things like that. Okay, too many awkward pauses and restatement of bobbled words. When you have a bobbled word or a phrase, then try not to correct every single thing you do. Watch vocalized pauses. You needed some visuals in this, and make sure that we get an outline and speaker notes in what you do. We're going to pause here, and we'll come back and pick up after this.